of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters. These heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl, Josh, and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of Tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
Did it.
Did it?
Go. We are ready to rock. New screens, new year, new Tokudon. We're here.
New Toku everything. New Toku, guys. New Tokudon.
I'm new sickness.
Yeah.
So if I make gross noises, I apologize. I'll try to mute myself. But you know.
I wasn't feeling the hottest yesterday, and I was really worried for a bit that I was gonna end up in bed. Like the horrible thought of sleeping in bed all day was like, no, why would I ever want that? But yeah.
Yes.
A couple of shots of ZQL will knock it right out of you.
Basically ripped a line of vitamin C, and here I am. So
yeah. That's
how we do it. Yeah. So new year, new Tokudon. We are going to be talking about super forms today, since Barid Rex and Volcano Rex just premiered not too long ago. I believe
Fajita
Volcano
Rex.
Rex. Yeah, Fajita Rex. Fajita Rex. My apologies.
Yeah. Get it right, man.
I think the spicy cheddar premiered today, if you will.
Yes, I think I didn't get to see it because I think I was only able to get up to 16. So do tell if you have seen it.
I have not, because I literally just finished.
Good, then we'll do that
15,
on the next one.
I think I only watched 15.
Okay.
I didn't even see the henshin or anything for this new one. So I also was having to set up the stream while I was trying to finish the episode, so I may have to rewatch 15.
Yeah, we were having fun times.
Happy fun.
But
times.
I did get up to 16, and 16 we have seen Fajita Rex and pretty much the maximum effort that it can give.
Okay.
I like its ice powers. It's not bad.
It's pretty sick.
I mean,
pretty sick.
For a super form, it's different enough because usually, it's usually been like fire related most of the time.
Yeah.
So this wasn't bad. I don't like that. Like I think I mentioned this before, that Vice doesn't have much of anything yet, but that is going to change with Spicy Volcano, Spicy Fajita.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that at least, because I want Vice to, as much as I don't like Dude, I want Vice to be more of a character, not a character, but more of a powerhouse too. Because if he can actually bring like all of the WWE vibes there, you know what I mean? Like if he starts suplexing and starts power bombing, like that's more what I want to see with him.
What's going on, Peacemaker? Peacemaker said they just saw the Raw, so
What's
I have
up, bro?
not even seen the henshin. I did see the Dawn Brothers preview, or the Dawn Brothers.
Oh,
review.
we'll get there. We could touch on that.
But yeah, what have you been up to before we get into the hard stuff? Anything fun and exciting?
Oh, man, this guy has been nothing but like all about catching up with Toku. So I did manage, like I said, I managed to get up to 16. Other than living at work, I've been listening to a bunch of throwback stuff because, we were talking over the break to come up with new stuff, and I've been trying to spice up this our new game plan for the year, and it's really been weighing on my mind how much we can. How much more we can do in the time we have here, and I'm really looking forward to our little treats that we have for everybody. But other than that, this Kamen Rider story that I've been working on for us has been all consuming and all encompassing, and it's amazing now. Like I'm so excited to touch on it if later on we can get to that.
Cool.
But legit, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I've been riding the Rona, if you will.
Yeah, man, I'm so sorry, homie.
It is what it is. I've just been hanging out in quarantine. I unfortunately still have to work from home, or fortunately, some people.
You got Rona Rider kicked.
I got Rona Rider kicked out of nowhere. So been hanging out, but I think I'm at the tail end of it, so I'm feeling a little better. I'm just
good. I mean, good. Like
Yeah.
Couple shots of the Odin sauce.
Like I said, rip a couple lines of VMC or vitamin C. VMC. Jesus, I don't know what that is.
VMC, yeah, that's probably some new stuff. that's when you'll hench in your head all day.
Yeah, no, that's when I do that's when I like take a shot of NyQuil. That's what happened.
Oh my god. That's the magic sauce, man. It's the magic sauce.
I hate it so much.
I know, but they have the cherry flavors. That's tolerable.
No,
Once
it's
you
not even
muscle
the
past the
taste.
gag reflex, it's not bad.
Like, it genuinely reminds me of being hungover in college when I wake up in the morning.
Oh,
it's the worst.
The PBR days, bro.
I really
why did we
genuinely
do it to
hate
ourselves?
NyQuil. Like,
we made messes of ourselves on purpose to have fun because it was fun.
Because it was fun to push each other into traffic. It was great.
Yeah. Who did that? Jackass. Freaking guys in their recklessness shenanigans.
Other than that, it's been hanging out, doing my usual stuff, painting some Warhammer, catching up. I was watching Revice this morning, and I've also been working on the Destroya video I've been talking about for weeks now. I finally got that. Yeah. So new YouTube stuff coming. I'm really excited for that. Actually, I'm having a lot of fun. So.
Lots of moves to make. Oops, sorry. Knocked my Bob Ross. Sorry. Good vibes.
Yeah.
He's just a happy little guy.
Peacemaker's going to enjoy watching games done quick all week. Are they doing some kind of special gamer charity drive thing?
Is that like a thematic thing?
Yeah. That's a channel. They typically do like speedrun kind of things.
Nice.
They'll do it for charities. They'll do it for this, that, and the other, that kind of thing. What's up, Mark? Yeah, NyQuil wrecks me not so good, but like it makes me feel better, I guess. So it's one of those like when you see the antidepressant commercials and they're like, well, you're not depressed, kind of, but your kidneys may be bleeding, your eyeballs are exploding, that kind of thing when they list through 30,000.
Yeah, I know the kidney struggle.
Is it worth it? I mean,
is it really though?
So they're running a week-long marathon to prevent cancer. Oh, okay. Oh wow. 2 Toku games are going to be in the run. Nice. Which ones? Was it blindfolded Sekiro? No, I refuse.
What? That sounds like a Guinness challenge thing.
Yeah.
Like, how?
I'm going through Sekiro, and I don't ever want to do it again once I finish it.
Do you get so good that you can actually like hear where you're at in that game? Is that even possible?
Oh, I'm not surprised. Ultra Ball and Jew Ranger for the NES. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So the blind playthrough, right? So Happy Hobbs does this thing that he calls the God Run. So he'll run through Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro without being hit. Period.
That's okay. That's believable. Yeah, no hit runs. I see.
Like no hit run, sure. Level 1 HP speed run kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
I know a couple times he's done like the full playthroughs, like Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, like where he doesn't skip all that nonsense and does all the extra stuff. But yeah, I blindfold, that is disgusting. I mean, I don't even know. Like the verticality alone, I don't know how you would go around. I guess someone's maneuvering them.
Obviously, the attack patterns are the same, but isn't there a good amount of RNG in there that you really can't account for?
It's not really RNG. It's more of a Mega Man scenario where you have to really learn the patterns. The RNG comes from sometimes the pattern, like it'll break it into 3 or 4 chunks. So like,
right.
You have like for example, there's a boss called Genichiro who's just, samurai dude, shogun, has a bow. He'll like mix up bow shots and then his combos. So he has like a flurry. He has a 2-hit into like what they call a Perilous Attack, which is an unblockable. So he'll do like 1 hit go into the Perilous Attack, and then he'll go into the flurry, that kind of thing. So the Perilous Attack, it has 1 or 2 flavors. It's either like you got to jump it, or you got to do what they call the Makiri counter, which is like you dash forward and do like so when it's a thrust, you'll step on it like badass style. Okay. Kind of counter it that way.
Yeah. I mean, all of the moves in Sekiro are like sexy. So yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the whole point of that is more of you're supposed to be aggressive and deflect, than opposed to just kind of dodge and roll out of the way.
Gotcha.
So you use a standardized movement in order to know where you are in environment. You will always do a specific set of moves that will get you to a location. Okay, so they tracked out their route essentially. They memorized
they're performing moves in a specific way as navigation
to progress through the level. Yes.
They're going. Whoa, that's.
But in terms of enemies, I could I could see how you learn an enemy in a combat, right? Like, because like Mega Man, there's sound cues, or like any fighting game, there's sound cues. I see how you can learn that. The route progression thing kind of intrigues me a lot, because that's
what I mean. Like,
with the
like, what if you actually trip up with like one? You trip up once, and I guess it's over. You know what I mean? Like, that's bananas. That sounds really interesting. That scares me. People who can do that scare me, because those are the guys that can like, you turn off the lights and they're like, nice. I'm good.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's awesome though. That's a great cause, because shit, we need more people that can do stuff like that for reasons like that.
Yeah, just to be impressive. Like, I don't. My history of Sekiro is I've bounced off that game 3 or 4 times now. And I don't like the base moveset, and that's a big part of it. And a lot of it feels like extreme levels of Mega Man, where, you know how Mega Man, you can beat it with the Buster, but the entire point is you find the power that the boss is weak to, right?
Makes it more fun, more dynamic.
It makes it more interesting. You know, you gotta, even getting through a level, you gotta kind of weigh if you're gonna use this power against the boss, or if it gets you through the level, sort of thing. Sekiro is very much, let me find the way to cheese this boss. If not, you are gonna have a hard time. And you are going to beat your head against a wall for a while. A lot of
playthroughs I see use that confetti bomb a lot, that little pyro thing.
Yeah.
It's like a little sprinkle shot.
Yeah, that's the firecrackers. They stun pretty much everything. So
I see.
There's
that doesn't look powerful at all.
No, it's not. It's literally just gives you like either a break or a stun for a couple seconds so you can get a shot or two in.
Gotcha.
Like a perfect example, right? You fight this thing called the Guardian Ape, who has a big sword stuck in its throat. It's a big white gorilla that does these big sweeping, what you would think of a gorilla, like shits in its hand and throws it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Perfectly great.
Super attack. For me, it'd be deadly. That would be it. Just smash, and I'm guys.
It is. It's terrible.
Done.
The poison racks up so quickly. It's absurd.
The poison, and it's poisonous?
And it's poisonous. Yeah, of course. It's a fart. But when you beat him, he goes into phase 2, where you actually cut off his head and he comes back up, because they have these centipede things that essentially take control of your body, and that whole shtick and bug possession, whatever. So it starts doing these like writhing moves and stuff, and at one point it'll fall down and it'll expose its gaping neck. Now, any other time, I would think like, hey, just wail on it. It's a Dark Souls game. It fell over. Bully him. That's our catchphrase in the Dark Souls runs. Bully him.
Bully him?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what you want to do, if you don't want to make your life miserable and repeat that 30 times, is you have to take the spear prosthetic, which is a lunging slash, and if you've upgraded it, there's a pull you can do when you hit R2 again. So what that does is it goes into the body, pulls out the centipede, and you do a crazy chunk of the posture bar. Because 90% of the time is getting this posture bar up, so you don't have to deal with a full life bar.
Holy crap.
It's that kind of thing where it's kind of obscure and you're rewarded if you figure it out, but it's almost like the balance between figuring it out and not is not quite there. So you almost have to figure it out.
Right, that's what I mean. You could go 17 playthroughs, and unless you even think of that, you never even have that option.
Because up until that point, I would think, the beasts are weak to firecrackers, so I would use firecrackers. Maybe use the umbrella shield you get just because, he's flailing around, something like that. Just literally anything, trying anything. But it would get to the point where I would go, I don't know what else to do. Let's try this thing.
Let's do, all right, so
there's also a point in the combo you have to parry to trigger the fall over and stuff. It's very obscure. It's kind of like a Dark Souls quest line, but every boss fight is a Dark Souls quest line.
It's like the SpongeBob technique. Step on your right foot, don't forget it, and then smash the spear into his neck.
Like the perfect cast from a Goofy movie. That's exactly what it is. The perfect cast.
I love it though, because it's only this kind of community that builds around a game that like obsesses to this level that you've discovered things like that. Ooh, knocked my mic. But yeah, like it's a nutty fun thing to see happening. I like this stuff.
Yeah, it's cool to see that kind of thing. I will never do that ever. And Peacemaker saying, bear in mind, it is a speedrun setting, so the game's going to be done in like 3 hours. So also true, but in general, Sekiro is a bear and a half. So once I beat it, I'm done. I finally got over the hurdles that always like stopped me the last couple times that I played. But I'm there.
What is that guy's name? What does he say? My name is something Oniwa.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's like running. He rushes at you on a horse. It's like the dopest part I saw in like all these places.
That's the first boss. That's Gyobu. He's a pusher.
Gyobu, thank you. I don't. It's just his entrance is like that's epic. That's awesome.
He literally like jumps over a fence with Raoul's horse kind of thing, and is like, "I am Gyobu."
Yeah,
that's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. He's angry. That's dope. Yeah. What's up, bro?
Like, I think this game is the best setting that they've created, like world-wise, other than Bloodborne, just because it's super unique. Like, it's a crazy Japanese spiritual setting. I'm into that kind of stuff. So it's a very cool world they've created. The game's ridiculous. So
I mean, I didn't get into before Elden Ring. Yeah, I didn't get into build so much when I played Dark Souls 3. I just got the Twin Prince sword and thought I was the beef shit. So that's really all I played for, was to have a nice boop stick.
I mean, that's really all you play for in Dark Souls games at this point. That's why you're punching things. But I didn't really know how to build a character well enough to even support that boop stick. So, but I imagine, maybe with Elden Ring, it's going to be like a whole new, or I guess being familiar with Dark Souls 3 is going to help with Elden Ring. Seems to be a combination of every game they've made so far. There's stuff from Bloodborne, there's stuff from Sekiro, there's stuff from Dark Souls,
all the friendly aspects,
all the From Software games. There seems to be something pulled from each of them into this game, which I'm pretty sure is just going to invalidate every game that's come before it at this point. Like that's the level that we're getting to. Like the demo they released was phenomenal.
Really,
the new stuff that they're changing, just everything about it. I could do an entire hour-and-a-half podcast on how excited I am for Elden Ring and the shit that it's bringing to the table.
If only you had a platform to do that on.
If only I had a platform to do that on, like I don't know, twitch.tv/KaijuCarl. Weird. I don't know. But speaking of boop sticks. Our rider friends tend to get some pretty powerful ones around the winter-ish New Year season, which is why we're actually here today. See that? Keeping our A game for the transitions.
This is how we do it. This is how we
keeping the A game transitions.
2022,
that's what we're doing. So today we started with a little bit Barid Rex. We are talking super forms and kind of the vaguity that is that classification of super form, because looking at the list of everything classified as super form, some riders have like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean, and then that one is definitely the one they preferred, and then the other one was like the other design that they had, and they're like, you know what, we got it.
It was like just super form and the super form and the super
mega form,
the super form before the final form, that kind of thing.
The super mega forms. Yeah.
So when I was looking at this, I kind of just looked at it whatever was between their base form and their final form. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. And the first major upgrade was kind of the idea when I was thinking about it this morning.
I definitely took a second to debate how many I wanted to put up, so I just went with like 3 or 4.
That's fine.
Because I just that was pretty much it. Everything else would have just been like a gimme. I'm like,
But so excluding Barid, because we just kind of, that just premiered. Volcano Rex is kind of like a form of Barid sort of thing.
Definitely overall, better palette, but yes.
How do you just feel about Barid and Volcano Rex and Fajita Rex?
The ice powers are a dope difference. It's a change up from the fire, but now we're getting the fire anyway, and at least we're getting a palette change. So I'm gonna go with, I like the palettes that they're going to change Volcano to. Hopefully that continues to be a pattern that they change with the next forms.
I just hope, my thing is, ice fire, I hope it doesn't turn into he gets all 4 elements again. Like primitive dragon or elemental dragon is cool and all, but he uses
the Futo winds with the eagle helmet.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want him to go full elemental again, and then we get another elemental super form that we rock for 12, 13 episodes.
Maybe we'll get a fajita time.
A fajita time would be kind of cool. I'd be down for that. But on the screen right now, if you guys are watching, I have Volcano Rex up there. Looking at it compared to Barid Rex, I didn't notice how stripped the armor is actually, which is kind of cool. It looks like a lot of the Barid, eggshell armor is stripped down. I'm assuming it's going to be a little faster. Again, I haven't seen the premiere today. But I'm here for it. It looks pretty cool. I like the yellow. I like the shade of yellow. I don't know if I like it with this purple.
I do like that Vice gets Barid form. That's good to see that they're just gonna be like, there you go.
Find the picture. That is a pretty cool little touch that is interesting, because I was kind of like, oh, he's just gonna get the shield. That's a little weird. But at the same time, he finally gets, once he goes into it, I'm assuming the eggshell comes off him and then goes on to.
I mean, it's definitely like the thing hatched, whatever it is, the volcano hatched, volcano baby.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's dope. It's a dope design. It just, I don't know what else it's gonna do other than fire. Like unless, like you said,
I'm sure it's gonna do all kinds
elemental
of
route.
Elemental things and fiery things and be intense, and it looks like it's gonna be fast in some kind. It looks like it almost has jet engines on its shoulder. So I'm going to assume it kind of like rockets around.
That's great. Yay.
Peacemaker says if Volcano's no remixes attached to it, it'll be the best form in the series. You are not wrong, my friend.
Oh my God. Why? Yeah.
And
no.
The flames are apparently hand painted on this one. Or at least that's what they heard, but there's no source, which would be kind of cool. I thought the best part of the Galaxy suit was that it was hand painted. That was cool. I respect it.
Okay.
But yeah, this is Barid Rex Vice on the screen at the moment if you guys are watching live. The shell armor just pops off Revy and then comes onto him. So, yeah.
Great. It's fantastic.
I do like if they are going to do the remixes, I like that they don't like turn into them. They just kind of summon the remixes in Barid form.
Yeah, that was form. I didn't understand how that worked though. Like, but I'm going to let it go because whatever. But I was like, okay, but what are you saying? Like, the genomes can do it on their own. I mean, the Vice stamps can do it on their own, and then you don't actually have to do any of that nonsense, or do you have to do it to unlock it? No, I need to know, because it doesn't make sense. If they don't have to do it, don't do it. Just summon it.
Listen, the remixes are like guacamole. Not everyone likes it, but if you do, it's the best part of the taco, okay? If we're sticking with the fajita here.
Good point.
So
I'll take that back.
Get the guacamole on top. I guess the remixes, actually, I like guacamole a lot. Let's pick something else. Let's pick Pico. Pico de Gallo. Not everyone likes Pico. I mean, everyone likes Pico, but, you could pick other salsas.
Salsa, bro. Oh, my God.
You're right. I don't know. There's nothing really on a taco I don't
Sauerkraut's
like.
the big divisive.
Sauerkraut
on a hot dog is a big divisive. I'm not a big fan, but
I thought you were going to say sauerkraut on a fajita, and I was like, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. That's a big no-no in my book.
Hold on. We just discovered something there. Go ahead. Trademark it, patent.
I don't want sauerkraut on a fajita.
Why not?
Oh my!
I mean, why not? What's the logic against that? Why not throw some grape jelly in there too, bro?
I mean, if you're gonna do it, go big or go home. Oh man,
people have deep fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's like a level.
I understand that way more though than like steak.
I'm still trying to process
actually, steak
that.
And sauerkraut does kind of make sense because there's pork and sauerkraut, but just in a fajita setting, I'm thinking with like the guacamole and the sour cream and lettuce and everything on top of the sauerkraut, and that just sounds off.
Yeah. Should I just have said, like, instead of nacho sauce, they use that cheese whiz from like any of your typical Philly stands? Just that gloopy ass thick cheese whiz. There you go.
Comes in bags.
There you go, homie. You have to summon it. You don't pump it. You have to be like, come on, please.
What you don't see is the back of every place that has that. There's actually 5 candles circled around it.
There's a witch underneath, and the child has been born.
Mark is not surprised that George didn't tell anyone about the remixes just being summoned, and Peacemaker says they're summoned from the giant eggs because reasons. So yeah,
George is my favorite character. His level of petty and his deviousness is so interesting. It makes the show worth watching.
I'm just gonna say on George, he got really into Gifu when he saw it. Like,
yes, but
I'm
like
rubbing some things where I was like, I don't know if this is appropriate to put on TV.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He was like, this looks like a.
Yeah, he's like, Gifu.
Oh my Gifu, you all right there, bro? Hold on. Hi there. But yeah, no. So legit, like George is gonna be either the best bad guy, or he's just gonna stay how he is and just stay mysterious. But I really want him to either make that heel turn and ham it up like another level, because that's gonna be just so much more fun. But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, Wakabayashi obviously was revealed to be a dead man's because he was murdered some time ago at some point.
He got murdered like the first episode had to be. It had to be the first episode, right?
If not the first episode, it was right before that. So
yeah, like it was literally like, and he was done. And then it was weird for Hiromi to be so conflicted. I hate that Hiromi's crying all the time.
I'm not surprised, honestly. Hiromi, he's constantly,
crying,
all about Phoenix. Well, crying, but also like Phoenix is my life. Phoenix is my thing. I'll do whatever I have to for Phoenix.
We had that with Senki in the last season. Like we're good. Like come on, let's not do that again. Just because you didn't kill him doesn't mean you have to recycle that. Like you could make him Chase broken. You know what I mean? Go Terminator mode. Yeah. Soulless Sam. You know what I mean? Like do something like that. Somebody who doesn't have a direction anymore should be the most dangerous thing ever.
I also think, that should be after Wakabayashi, right? Like that should be the thing. And then we kind of get that when they're fighting in the dance club, whatever they're in the Dead Man Club.
Yeah.
And he kind of is like, to hell with all of this. Fuck it. Let's go. I'm going to demons up whether this kills me or not because yo ass is getting kicked.
And then they stopped it and then he cries again.
Did he? I honestly finished the episode, but I wasn't paying attention at the end. So some stuff happened.
I don't. And that he puts on the I'm sorry, he assumes the role after Wakabayashi. And even then he's like walking away like like stop. Come on, man. Like where are you going with this? What's the point of that?
I'm going to assume he's going to have some kind of personality turn when they figure out what's going on with his belt or when they reveal what's going on with his belt. Once Iki's done his thing, because obviously we're going to have like 2 or 3 more episodes of him getting upgrades and stuff, and then we'll go back to like the other riders. So I'm assuming that's going to happen. But for me, like I was so excited to finally see his like real kick in that episode, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Why? You didn't like the
No, it had no. I was actually all about those like iron spider hands going on. I was all about it. The fact that he squished it mid jump and then they just kind of like form a ball around him and then he just like badly hovers at them really fast. I was like, okay,
well, that's just bad CG. But I think the kick was acceptable because again, it wasn't supposed to be a thing. They're like, what do we do? Okay, that. All right.
Peacemaker says he's more sick from crying because the belt is killing him.
I was just thinking, what if it's not him that's crying? What if his like Kagero? What if his inner demon is a fucking crybaby? And
that'd
it's like
hilarious.
It's possessing him to be a crybaby the whole time.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I'm just saying, like, let's do something like that. His inner demon is a crybaby bitch, and he's actually a soulless Sam type of character. Fucking crybaby. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something.
Mark's pointing out that George has also been curious about the dad since the family vacation spa episode.
You see that at the end, he has no heart, right?
No.
Yeah. Maybe that's the preview. Well, no, I think it was the end of the episode. He has no heart. The dad has no fucking heart.
Oh, cool. So he's a dead man. Got it. He's the shell of Gifu. I'm calling it. He's Gifu's mortal shell.
Did not call it. I said he was going to be the strongest character in the whole thing.
I'm telling you, he's going to be the person that they made Gifu's contract from to begin with. So
that's a lot, but I mean, I see he's stepdad. He came out of nowhere.
Like we saw that the dead mans can become the demons. They release the demons. All this, that, and the other. That stamp clearly has some other nonsense going on. The Gifu stamp, and like it's clearly it's the horn of the devil essentially. So
I mean, it's
literally a devil horn. So I'm going to assume its rules aren't exactly the same as the other rules.
But it didn't do much. Like he was able to put an invisible chip on it, and they didn't notice the invisible chip. He's Tony Stark, by the way. He's got Stark tech all over the place.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I love it. I'm like, oh, it went invisible. I was like, who didn't see that green stamp? Oh, it went invisible. Of course. But nobody's holding it and not gonna feel that little.
Yep. I'm telling you, he's Gifu's shell. Peacemaker saying in a future episode of the conversation, be like, Dad, did you lose your heart in the Amazon? And it went and started a cult. So what we're getting at is the dad is a heartless. Gifu is a nobody. And
oh my god, that's it.
Organization 13 is the dead man's. It all comes back to Kingdom Hearts because Kingdom Hearts is trash.
It's like a far off memory of a Kamen Rider kick to the face.
Oh my god. Zenith Anthem. Riku. Kairi.
At this point, I can only hope that the relationship, well, the turn that they're gonna do with George is tied into whatever they're gonna do with Iki, and Iki just goes full dark side for a bit, just to fill in a couple episodes, because this is not gonna go for much longer. They even basically wiped out their home base, and killed. They realized that now they kill a phase 2 or above, it actually kills the person that's attached to it. So Iki was like, I'll do the finishing blows. So I'm like, okay, so he's trying to take on the burden of having to deal with that guilt.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things is when he gets buried, the first thing the saber guy, the saber-toothed tiger guy says is like, hey, you're not thinking of anything that happens afterwards. You're just here to fight. And like, you ruined my life, dude. Like, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people in a hospital because of you. And he was like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
And he had that little moment, which is a kind of cool moment. Like, I don't like Vice. I've made that very clear. I do not like Vice.
Yeah.
Period.
No, I like the idea. The concept of Vice is doper than the character.
Their dynamic is way more interesting to me than the actual character himself, because the character sucks. Like, they're kind of back and forth and kind of pulling each other back and forth is interesting to me. I just wish, Vice was more tolerable as a character. That's all.
But I like that he's, like you said, the dynamic is there, that it works. Because when they put it in and they implement it well, like the egoist line and all that stuff, like you're actually bummed out that this bad guy is telling you the truth. Like, you good? You know what I mean? Like, I'm up. But legit, like, if they continue that kind of stuff throughout the whole story, and then when he does go to dark side, it'll be Vice's thing to come full circle.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it.
I think so, they get there. And then I'm sure that's going to be some kind of, they'll have some revelation that leads to Vice getting his own full rider form and all this kind of stuff. Do you think
we can hope? Do
you think Vice is going to get a human form? Do you think he's going to become human again?
No, I hope not. I don't want that.
No,
because if that's the case, then they're going to cast Subaru, and then they can't. So they'll have to actually jarringly cast somebody else.
Yeah. And then they'll do like the the Garo like super ADR later kind of thing.
Yeah, like I have a different voice.
Clearly we didn't film this at the same time kind of thing. Mark's saying they assume that the first arc is calling Gracias Deadmans is done by episode 17-18. We kick off the next arc. That sounds about right. Next arc will involve that weird ass family whose son is in the karate class with Sakura. Oh, Rio?
That thing?
Yeah, I don't know if Rio's coming back, honestly.
Where's that gonna go?
Other than like just more of dealing with like the collateral of being Kamen Riders, which could be interesting.
If they do if they do more drama, sure. Melodrama's fine.
Like not even melodrama, just kind of like how each of the siblings deals with being a Kamen Rider when they have the same kind of like you're leaving destruction in your wake even though you're trying to help sort of thing.
It would be something to see with all of them, but I don't think there's enough dynamic there with all of them. Like I think she's just had her catharsis moment, so I think she's still coming to terms with being weak. Daiji Kagero hasn't been a thing, right?
They literally turned it into like, let's make a joke out of it, let's just kick him to make a joke, and then
that's right,
he'll suddenly start helping us, which made zero sense whatsoever, but just give him some spicy curry and he's on our side. That makes sense. Like, what? They're
turning him into Vice. But I mean, like he's gonna be like a friendly Vice, like another one.
And then Peacemaker saying this week's feels like a start of a new arc with Olteca taking over the remnants of the Deadmans with Julio and Aguilera off on their own.
Yeah, when No Hat Julio became a dick and Julio was like a super crybaby, it was like, all right, bro, but aren't you strong too? Like fight, like you know what I mean? Like it was just the dissension was obvious because you could tell from a couple episodes ago when Olteca was like, that snide smile he always had.
Yeah, he always had that like Storius scheming kind of vibe to him.
And that's what I was going with. I'm like, they're repeating the Storius vibe again. Like, come on.
I hope it doesn't turn into him being the big bad. That's all. Like, I'm fine with an arc of that. You know what I mean? Like, disruption in the ranks of the bad guys, this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. Like, I'm cool with it. It's fine with that. As long as it doesn't become the story, like Storius was.
Yeah, I finally got to see like Aguilera's Queen Bee goopy face thing. It's not bad.
I saw that too. It wasn't awful, like it. But apparently it's a reference to one of the first, bad guys in Showa.
No, I dig it a lot. It's flowed well, and she did. I didn't get that she was uber tier powerful though, but okay.
I don't think she was ever supposed to be. She was just kind of like, I'm in command because I'm Gifu's waifu.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that was not implied at all. But I mean, other than other than the what's to come, I can only think that if it's another super form and it's not elemental based, it should be something more specific to Kagero, to Daiji. Like we need to pump him back up or get demons a death because it's we didn't get it for the Christmas episode.
If he's not gonna die, we're definitely gonna get demons with like a different driver, and that's gonna be his upgrade. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna kill
another
him.
Driver, another driver, or like
no, they're gonna do another driver. He has toys because we all taught them that when you have 13 different drivers like 01, we're gonna buy them.
Yeah, speaking of 01, that's another super form that I was on the fence on.
Yeah,
when we were coming up with this super form list, I was on the fence on that for a bit. I decided that I would leave it as my honorable mention or my honorary fourth.
Okay.
Because let me put this up in the Discord here, because specifically the ZO2 form that I like a lot, and it had the power that I wanted it to have, like the power scale comparison.
Yeah.
And when it didn't last just one episode, you know what I mean? It was strong for a good 5-6 episodes. So that's why this one's making the list for me. If I can get it on there. Nope. Okay, cool. I'll work on that. But what about you? What was your first pick?
So yeah, we also wanted to talk about just general super forms too. That's pretty much all, honestly, I had to say for Vice anyway. But yeah, looking at ZO2, I agree. I think I have it up on the screen now. ZO2 is, yes, I agree 100%. That's the kind of thing I expected him to have as the time rider, right? Like that was his thing. He can do this crazy like prediction, see variants in the futures of time, and act on them. Right. I also, I once again, Grand Zeo is god awful, but every other design in Zeo is okay, is pretty good. This one's pretty good too. I like this one a lot. So yeah, and Peacemaker saying it's the best form Sogo got all season. I would kind of agree with that, honestly, other than Oma. Oma's just
Oma
isn't even fair kind of thing, but we're just talking about super forms. So yes, I think this is way better than Trinity too. I hate Trinity. I'm not a fan of
that was one of my least favorites. So yeah, we can talk about Trinity right now. Yeah,
Trinity, the whole multiple person thing, like they hit gold with it once, and then every time they've tried it since then, I feel like it's pretty weak.
Did they hit gold? Are you talking about Deno?
No, I'm talking about double.
Okay, thank you. I was like, fusion forms have always bothered me since Deno. Now I know that the dynamic with Deno works because, dude, that's talent. Yeah. Because it's so physically expressive that you can tell they're different characters, and I applaud the hell out of it. But it looks so awful, so awful to look at, and that's just what started it. I'm like, fusion forms with the faces do not work for me at all, and Trinity is like face, 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 face. Like, bro, enough.
And it's like it's one of those things that just wears out its welcome very quickly to me.
Yeah.
Like it's fun and entertaining for like an episode or two because it's like, look, they're fighting over the body, yada yada. But like they always end up just getting to a point where it's them just fighting, period. And it's like, well, then why are we even doing this at this point? So
especially when you have the dynamic Waz, you know what I mean? Like you can't top Waz's cheese, and the whole point should have been to play into that in this form because he should have been all about this form because he's actually with his his Wangamao, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And
I don't know.
Peacemaker saying it's kind of sucks that Trinity was in the Blade episode. Yes, everything about the Blade episode suck.
No, go on.
But more so that it's in Blade and not the Dedo episode because this is like big climax form vibes. You know what I mean? So
it would have been too much. There would have been too many colors. It would have saturated the screen.
Right. It would have been too many voices at one time talking. So they've had to pay too many voice actors. That's all. But that's all. That is definitely one of my least favorite in general. ZO2, I agree. That's high middle of the pack for me. Like I like it. Like I said, it's what I expected. I will say one that's grown on me the absolute most. Great Damashi. This thing, when it came out, I despised the hell out of this thing.
We did. We hated it because it was just like, I don't know. For me, it was just so different. What about you?
To me, it wasn't enough to warrant a whole other belt. That's kind of the thing. Like, to me, it was, all right, cool. We're combining all the icons. I get it. It's one giant icon that has all of them. But, like, it was literally just, let's fight more powerful and just use the weapons we've already round robined, which really didn't have any ties to the forms other than he happened to use them with it. Like, it was just combining the different animals. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he could have done that with or without the form.
Yeah, I mean, it's so it was the first facey thing. It's a face thing, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But I do like that because the faces are very just symbols kind of thing. Like they make faces out of symbols. It works a lot better than having like a Zio head or or a Sanju head, that kind of thing. I forgot his name. Momotaros. There you go. Like a Momotaros, that kind of thing.
You're right.
It works better, but as a form, it's grown on me, and I think a lot of it had to do with the Saber crossover thing. Like I jumped back into Ghost a little bit. I never rewatched the show, but I jumped back in and watched some clips and things, and that could be part of it too. You know, I'm watching the best of these things as opposed to writing it out for 10, 15 episodes.
So it's good in doses. You like it in doses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, if I'm revisiting something and seeing the best of it, I'm kind of not realizing the worst of it, sort of thing, and why I had a problem to begin with. So yeah. But yeah, Tokon Boost, I guess technically does fit this category. This is what they have under Super for the wiki. But yeah, Tokon Boost is another super form, which I think kind of is the spirit of a super form, a little better. It's supposed to be like an upgraded base form.
Upgrade, yeah, I would say upgrade form, and then super form would be Damashi because it's a different belt.
Yeah.
I guess that is debatable. It is a good debate because one has his standard belt and one is a whole different belt. So it could be considered a whole different form.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good argument. But considering it's using all of the forms, it should be a super form.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. It's interesting. This is Tokon Boost on here. Like it's basically his base one with some fire patterns and red. That's really.
We can agree that Ghost is really dope. Ghost is broken. He just should have had a better show.
Dope and cool and broken, but they didn't utilize any of it, so it's kind of moot. You know. That's really what I would say for like my honorable mention, if you want to give it that. Not that there's really a ranking to what I was planning anyway. But that's definitely my kind of like, I gave this a lot of shit back in the day, but it's okay.
So what did you like about it?
What? Grateful?
What did you like to No. So like what do you like in a super form? Because it was really easy for me to pick what I don't like versus what I do like.
Yes.
Because my next super form that I like a lot kind of reflects of me. Okay. Like I like this for myself. Like the Anzen that I designed reminds me a lot of this rider, and it's the Max Hazard form for build.
Okay.
Like in terms of scale, I think it should be higher, but it's kind of like third for me because of the loss of power aspect of it. I don't like the berserker mode thing. I don't like that it takes over. But other than that, the design of it, hold on, let me find a picture here. But this design, yeah, sir, thank you. Okay, I'll put it up on the Discord. But the Max Hazard debut itself, you know what I mean? Like he offs one of the three bad guys, you know what I mean? And then he's like guilty as hell about it for the next couple of days. So everything about that.
What do you think of Sparkling versus Max Hazard as super forms?
Sparkling Max Hazard?
No, just Sparkling. Just Sparkling in general. Like,
I don't like Sparkling form.
Because they're both technically super forms. So
I don't like the fizzy pop form. It was always just like, it wasn't different enough, and it didn't imply that it was much more powerful in any aspect. Like, it was just like, it's a bigger can. Ta-da. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
I'm real pointy.
Yeah, that was it. It was just like, okay, now he's fizz. Now he has fizz. Yeah. He's going to beat you with the fizzy pop.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, Hazard Trigger is definitely the one I like better of the two, but I think, again, it had a lot more to do with the story aspects where, like you said, he but Pepsi Man references. Yes, there is tons of Pepsi Man references that are
Oh
pretty
my God,
powerful.
yes.
But
Yes.
story-wise, when you have this goody two-shoes main character and then he just goes off the handle and actually murders someone, I thought that was pretty cool.
And
So that was a nice little thing.
And all of the consequences that he actually has to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, it's not I'm so sorry. And he never gets like the catharsis for that. It's always like, yep, I fudged
Yep,
that.
I done messed this one up. Oh boy. Yep. So
But
yeah, that's a good pick. I dig it. I am gonna pick one that may not seem quite my usual flavor because I don't talk about it a whole lot, but there's one I really do like. And that is Agito's burning form.
Ooh,
I dig this form a lot.
Nice. Okay.
And I think so. I am having a Agito renaissance lately, where I think I genuinely love Agito.
Really?
Like,
So
yes.
it's transcended the last time we checked in.
So
okay.
I think I haven't watched a whole lot of the episodes. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, so I haven't actually watched the episodes with burning. But what I've seen of burning, and it just, I don't know, like it's my kind of thing. Like he's kind of got like a berserk thing going on a little bit. Not quite. He's just kind of like savage more than anything.
Gotcha.
And then, he can use the 2 weapons and all that kind of stuff. Shining, I think, is his final form is fine. But I like this one. I actually like this one better than his final form. I just think it's a cool form. And everything I see of Agito is so much cooler than I had originally thought. So
it implies that he's like bursting out or is like on fire underneath the armor.
yeah, like his power is just radiating.
Dig that.
Peacemaker saying that they like that the Berserk was quiet and calm instead of the big like beastie version for Hazard. That adds to it a lot too, where it's just like Terminator, right? The walk. Yeah. That's all it was. The walk.
It's just like of if I ever got a power up hint, the one thing I always liked is like that anime moment, and it's cliche shit, but dude, I love it. That walk up punch, that slow walk up, like I'm coming through whatever it's like Broly. Like I'm coming through whatever you're gonna throw at me, and you're gonna get socked. And that's what I always wanted to see. So I dig that a lot.
You just wanted to walk through some Kamehamehas? That's what you wanted to do?
Just walk through a Kamehameha.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I'm down for it.
Handicap. Is that another word for body bag?
Yeah. Oh, Vic.
Oh, Vic. Oh, my
Vic.
goodness.
So, yeah. So what about a form you didn't like?
Didn't like? Well, there's always Hibiki Kurane.
Couldn't really? You didn't?
Yes.
It's very red. Very red.
It's not even red. It's just like it doesn't do a whole lot of different things. It's just kind of like a powered up Hibiki. That's all it really is to me.
Right.
And it also is invalidated, even though armored Hibiki is kind of a movie form. It's invalidated by that, essentially.
Hibiki Soko is a movie form?
I'm pretty sure it's a movie only form. I could be wrong. I don't know. I've never seen Hibiki till the end.
I've not seen Hibiki. I've seen enough of Hibiki to know that I will probably need to not be sober to watch Hibiki.
Yeah, I'd watch that one. But yeah, armed Hibiki, I think, invalidates Kurenai completely in every way, shape, and form. So, it is what it is.
Okay. I didn't. It
debuted in the movie, but it is in the show. Okay. I didn't know the movie took place while the show was airing because I never watched Hibiki. So cool.
Wow, you get your final form in the movie?
Yeah, like armed is super cool. Kurenai, not so much. It's kind of just super Hibiki. So
cool.
Which I mean,
I do like that part.
In the spirit of a super form, I guess it is, the tried and truest. It's just not that interesting to me. So
yeah, I mean, I don't like the oversaturated red, but one of the things that I really don't like about a super form is bulkiness.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the king bulky forms that I have always hated is our dear friend that you have rediscovered your love for, Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Formula to me is such a horrendous, atrocious thing that even in the tease, when we saw the tease, we were like, oh my God, no. And then it happened, and it was so much worse. It got worse.
I will say, I was talking about
don't defend it. You're gonna
no. I'm not going to say I like it. I'm just saying I always talk about how the scans sometimes aren't as good as like seeing it in motion, right? Like sometimes there's definitely a lot of forms where in the scans that they just don't look as good.
No.
And then This one somehow looked worse on screen.
Oh, I got another one. Dropping these images in the Discord, guys. Like, look at this
man.
silhouette. Look at what they did to him. Look at our boy. Like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, there's no redeeming this. Like, they literally slapped a fender onto his chest and said, "You're a car." And then,
you're a car now. And then he gets the cool cannon, but like, he gets the cool cannon.
No, it's unforgivable. And then I found this, and I'm like, oh, this actually could work if they changed it from a whole fender to maybe just the grill of the car. You know what I mean? Just the grill. That would have been dope. But no.
That's pretty cool. I dig that. That's
right. I'm like, okay,
a little less obnoxious. Turn it in a little, like compress everything. I like that a lot better. Instead of like, you know,
super chest.
Super chest.
Like he could literally just like walk up to every enemy and then they could just keep swiping and then they wouldn't hit him.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to touch him. He could just poke him.
It's that bad. I hated it. Sorry.
And but at least we did get Dead Heat. Dead Heat was also technically a super form. And I think
I was gonna say that's the next one on my list.
Okay,
Heat.
Go ahead. Go then. Take it away.
Because Dead Heat is the antithesis to that. It compresses everything.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it all internal, like a combustion. Like he's literally about to pop.
Yeah. And
that's the dopest part of Dead Heat. Again, it's not so much you lose control, you just can't do it anymore. That's better than on Berserk mode. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's ooh, excuse me, the master's talking. But yeah, like for me, it's the dynamic of Go in Drive. That's it. I like that versus the other.
Yeah. Yes, Peacemaker. Dead Heat is definitely Mach's form at this point. It's not really Drive.
Well, yeah.
Twice.
But the design of Drives is for me. I preferred better.
But yeah, absolutely. I like the Dead Heat form in general much better. It also does. It's the best version, I think, of the mix that they do throughout the show. They kind of turn into this thing where like they just want to reuse the suits, so they start mixing and matching a lot of things. I think the Dead Heat series, both of them, both Dead Heat forms, are the best use and design of those mixes because I feel like they went in with the plan that they were going to mix Drive and Mach together. You know what I mean? Like it kind of it wasn't just let's pull pieces from another suit and call it a new form.
That works. That works so well for me. Mach Drive is such a sexy Bokumetsu. Wait, what does he say? Sweet Siki. Bokumetsu. Izuremo Maha.
Yeah.
Maha Chaser. Oh man, that shit's dope. All right.
Oh man, Go is something. That's for
I forgive him. He made the show. He made the finale another level because without him,
he's definitely better than I thought the first time through.
Yeah.
Apparently, when I was looking through this list, they have a Dead Heat Mach, or not Dead Heat, Super Dead Heat Mach, which is literally just the. It's literally just the Chaser Rhino repainted with the Mach helmet. That's all it is. So I found this randomly, and apparently it's from some novel. I don't know.
This is legit. This is real.
This is from a novel. I hate it. I hate it.
It's literally a repaint. Like that's it with Mach's helmet.
That's it. It's literally the Rhino, Chaser Rhino.
Gross.
That's all.
Gross.
With it looks like literally photoshopped Mach helmet. So I don't know if they ever made an actual suit for this or someone just redid the color. But
it's gross.
You know,
I don't like it.
Nope, not a fan of that. So there's that. I do have to say another honorable mention to one of my favorites, and it's strictly through obligation. Jack form.
Jack. Oh, okay. But that's yeah. You know what? Drop your blade.
That's all it is.
Unless it's official. All right.
It's a Photoshop. Okay, got it. Thank you. So it looks super photoshopped. So
okay.
Doesn't look as bad.
It doesn't look that bad, but it is kind of bad.
Anyway,
so we're just gonna go with that.
Yeah. So Blade Jack, it is what it is. I don't know. I honestly don't feel any strong opinion about it whatsoever because King literally invalidates everything in that show. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, but the one exception I do make about bulky forms is Kachidoki.
Kachidoki, yes.
Kachidoki is the one exception because that was the first show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The second show, the first one I watched as it was airing, and I never had that experience before of watching the hero get an incredibly broken power up for the first time. And in Ryuki, you get survive, but survive is it, you know, and
yeah,
to this point, you were getting all these forms, and then when he busted out the Kachidoki, I was like, oh wow, I want everything about that. Like everything about it was awesome, man. And it thematically it fit from the foot soldier of Gaim to the daimyo shogun look, or not quite the shogun look, but the warlord look of Kachidoki. Like that was like, okay, I see where they're going with it, and I was really more excited for the final form. As dope as this was, to know that that's gonna be even more broken, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you think about his other super form, the Jimber mix?
The mix was again not as much aesthetically to me because it literally just feels like dark on the one color. You know what I mean? It's not a lot going on for it.
It really just has the banger,
and it's bulky.
Yeah.
It's bulky, yeah, and it's the bulkiness that I'm really not too fond of. I hate the bulky look. Yeah, but that's the one exception I make, like the Kachidoki arms.
Peacemaker saying they feel old every time they say someone's show is newer than WO's or Forza. To be fair, I literally tried to get him into Kamen Rider for years before he watched
Listen,
Ryuki.
it was literally every other conversation was like, so have you heard of our Lord and Savior Ichigo?
It was like we'd be sitting there talking about like a school project and I'd just slide the DVDs over.
It's just right there, the whole pile, just like, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
We'll be here. And then legit, I know I've probably told it before, but it was Ryuki. I popped it in because I could pronounce that. And I was like, oh, Ryuki, I could say this. So I popped it in and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Like, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
So
that was it.
Yeah. Kachidoki is very cool. I dig it a lot. I honestly, I jokingly shit on Gaim, but I do like Gaim a lot. I think the lemon, what was that belt called? Not the Sengoku driver.
Genesis driver.
Genesis driver. There you go. I thought that was a really cool driver until I heard the screeching noise the toy makes, and it does that like because when you press it in and it pulls back out, it goes like. I was like, well, that's obnoxious.
I don't like because they all look the same after with the Genesis driver. It's the same thing, and that's really what I didn't like too much about.
And I like the Genesis forms. Like I love Sid's form. I love Cherry. I love all the inspiration for the different warriors and stuff like that. The Sonic Arrow needed to be something like it needed to be more
That's
different.
True.
Like
the Sonic Arrow.
In the SICs, they changed the Sonic Arrow for everyone. Like they made Lemons more of a rapier. They made Sid's more of an axe looking thing. They did little stuff like that. Yeah, the SIC versions for the Genesis.
I probably have seen them, but it's been so long that I can't even.
But the Genesis driver SIC versions are way cooler in my opinion, just because they change up the Sonic Arrow a little bit. Obviously, SIC is very stylized, but other than that, they changed the Sonic Arrow, so a little more unique, person to person.
I mean, SIC figures make everything look amazing. To be honest, like every
Speaking of forms that you may not necessarily be about all the time, one of my favorite super forms is actually Drago Time and All Dragon. So I have expressly mentioned how much I hate the CGI in these shows multiple times, but All Dragon is fucking cool.
It is a cool power. That power is crazy, but it's just it suffers from the two things, the face and the bulk. Like it's all over the place with it.
I'm all here for it. I love that he just equips the dragon and then you're Drago Time. I love that. It makes the same noise as the Genesis driver, but I love the wizard driver so much more, in my opinion, because he does the ting, and then when it's clicking around here,
Drago Time.
Yeah, Drago Time. I love it. I love it.
I dig it. I know. I remember. He used to. Yeah, that was like
that kick. He kicks Phoenix into the freaking sun.
I'm not arguing. That's fine. That's it. It's just when I look down and I see Drago's face, I'm like,
I love it. I love it. And then it comes out and breathes fire, and he just Jesus on the cross thing.
Like, say how? Not my shit. Sorry. guys. But yeah, no, I dig that.
Peacemaker
That's
says it's weird calling all dragon a form since it acts by the spell side and has 3 variations at this point. Yes, it does, including Infinity Dragon and the Gold Infinity.
There's a toy. It's a form.
It is a form. It is a very real form. I love this. I love it. I love Drago Time. That's all it really is. I'm a fan. I love Wizard. I'll say it. Wizard's my boy. If I had to be a writer, I'd be up there with that.
I think that was pretty much the pinnacle of the moment for me was the Kachidoki. Like that was my favorite super form to experience.
Yeah.
The only honorable mention I'm going to drop in the Discord here, and you guys can go ahead and enjoy that Nightmare Fuel.
We have Nightmare Fuel. Okay, I'm here for Nightmare Fuel. Oh, wow, that is Dan Kuroda's head on a hazard body. Okay, well, we're done here. All right, that's enough internet for today. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I saw that. I was like, oh, that's scary.
That's terrifying. Okay. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I usually am not a fan of the CG forms, and honestly the CG in Wizard is not any better than any other series. But I really genuinely love that form, and I think it's super cool. And I'm just a fan of armors like that. Like, let me equip stuff. That's all I want to do. Let me purge it too. I am down for a Gundam that can purge armor. Damn it.
I like the idea of like stripping down and becoming like a what's the right word? Dangai form? Like a
casting off.
You casting off, if you will. If you will. But I mean, is Metal Cluster the super form, or is Assault Hopper the super form?
You can make an argument for both, because like Vulcan, they have listed here as Orthros Vulcan, the one he uses at the very end that Naki throws to him. They have that listed as the super form. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Assault Wolf is his super form to me.
Assault Wolf, yeah, because that's
so like, you can make the argument that both of them are. It's kind of a similar situation to like Token and Grateful and all this kind of stuff. Like there's really 2 super forms. So like Shining Assault, and Metal Cluster. Realizing Hopper is technically considered a super form in here. That's not true, but we're not going to go there.
Realizing Hopper
is
the final form.
Yep. But anyway,
the awakened
the Shining Assault are definitely his super form, I think, and then his Metal Cluster is his super 2, if you will, his Super Saiyan 2.
I can go with that. Yeah, but I think of the 2, I would say because of the bits you get with Assault Hopper, I prefer that because you're sacrificing a lot of your defense and offense with the Metal Cluster. You know what I mean? Like that's your suit that you're using against everything. Now it got heavy Byakuya vibes for the Senbon Zakura, but when you think about it, I'd rather do the punching than the kicking. Like
I love the design of Shining Assault so much better too. Like I don't really like Metal Cluster that much, honestly.
It's very plain, but I think it works as a super form because it's just implied. And
that was his Berserk form for a little bit, and then it wasn't 2 episodes later. But it's cool that the armor itself is what like the little bit bug things come off of. I think that's kind of cool. I just prefer Shining.
Who's taking it in a scrap? Who takes it in the scrap? We got Fang Joker versus Dogabaki Kiva.
I don't know. Kiva's got that hyper armor with the Dogon chest. He's got them iframes. So
okay. Respect that defense. But
yeah, you got to respect it. It doesn't mean he's going to win, but you got to respect it.
That's gonna be.
You still got to utilize the armor correctly in a match. It doesn't give you an auto win, but
All right, so let's throw this on the table and end this argument here.
Okay.
Who do you feel has the weakest super form versus the strongest super form?
Design wise, power wise, what are we talking?
Let's just go strictly aesthetically.
Aesthetically, for me?
Yes.
Hang on. Dogobaki's pretty high up there, honestly.
I think Deno is the bottom tier for me, straight up. Climax form is dirt trash to me. Aesthetically speaking, respectfully.
Magnet States is pretty bad. Magnet States is pretty bad.
Oh my god, that's a super form. That's right.
Yeah, Magnet States is pretty rough. I really don't like Magnet States, so I think I'm gonna go with that one.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Gross. Okay. Palette cleanse. Favorite. Top tier.
Aesthetically?
Top tier. Yes.
Oh. probably either Burning or, Fang Trigger or Fang Joker, I should say. I really
Fang
like.
Joker.
So I don't know. It's hard because I like that it's kind of like an accented basic one. Like XL form from Fies is really cool too, just because the chest opens up and you get the color change.
Okay.
I like it when it's coherent and clean. That's kind of what I like in my super forms.
I dig that.
Yeah.
I actually like Primitive Dragon.
Primitive Dragon's pretty sick. I do like Primitive Dragon.
I really like aesthetically. I think it's the cape, the half cloak, the dragon, the berserker style. It's just aesthetically, I love it.
It was a very cool debut too. That is one of the better debuts, I think. Elemental Dragon's kind of whatever, honestly.
It's just the palette. It's too much colors then.
Too much colors, and I kind of just got tired of looking at it, to be totally honest with you. I will die on the hill that the fairy should have been the one lifting him out of the pit at the end, but that's whatever.
She should have done the final clothesline. It should have done everything. That should have been it. She should have been like, from the debut, she took off to the very pinnacle of our galaxy's orbit to develop the speed and power to come back and clothesline him like King.
And then it just turned into a Dragon Ball explosion and then engulfs the world. Oh man.
Or the opposite. It goes, she reaches such a pinnacle of speed that he's probably making his final monologue and then he stops because she just sliced through his whole neck. And now I will, and then she's gone.
Like the AB combination, it just heads off.
That's it.
That's it.
And she saved us again.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with. New headcanon for the end of Blade. Oh my god. God, I couldn't even think of the word.
Saber. The other sword.
I was gonna say blade and I wanted to burn my tongue. I
will say one of the, I don't want to say useless, but kind of pointless super modes is Amazing Mighty, when he's just basically Kugo but black. Doesn't even have the accents or anything like he gets in the Rising. Just because again, it kind of like Rising is there and it's pretty much the same thing, just better in every way, shape, and form. Story wise, obviously it has connotations, but still, I think that's one of the ones where it's like, there's really not like an Amazing Mighty sword staff, dragon, Pegasus, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of pointless.
Sure. Yeah.
Just because Rising does show up later.
I mean, compared to Almighty form or Mighty, whatever is
Ultimate, Rising Ultimate, those kind of, like Ultimate is his like big one, right? And then Rising Ultimate was the decade one.
Finger poke of
that
death
was like Super Shredder form. Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so Amazing Mighty is fine. It's just again, Ultimate kind of invalidates it a couple episodes later, I feel like. So
level 99 is the ultimate bulk form that I hate the most. The ultimate.
I hate that form. It's so dumb.
It literally is like X-Aid's level 99 is like why?
Yeah.
That's like his vehicle glued to his body.
Yep.
Like I don't know. And then you have Laser, who looks like Laser to me is one of the worst designs for a rider.
Ultimate gets the weapons in the old figures. That's cool.
Nice.
That's pretty sick.
Ooh, Ultimate
the only thing I like about level 99 is that it reminds me of Ride Armor from Mega Man. That's the only thing it has going for it. Other than that,
like that's all I remember.
That's all it is.
Fighting Magma Dragoon with it. Yep. Magma, that bastard.
Oh man, yeah. Super forms overall, I wanted to talk about them because essentially I feel like everyone always just talks about the final forms and we don't really talk about these super forms too much.
It usually boils down to that because you usually get the super forms for like a good 5 episodes and then that's it. Yeah. But no, you're right. We seem to be getting them pretty early. I mean, if it's 16 episodes in for Revice. Yeah.
Peacemaker says they prefer the Mighty Brothers. Absolutely. I think Mighty Brothers is a way cooler super form.
Yeah.
The twin form.
It's broken, but I love it.
It's cool. I like it a lot. And there's obviously a lot of gray area too when it comes to super forms because some of these riders have 2 or 3, some of them have 1, some of them have this, that, and the other. And there's usually also the trend of like the riders below them kind of get passed down the upgrade sort of thing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Daiji at one point gets a Barid egg kind of deal or something like that.
Oh my god. Live with like an eggshell design. He'll just look like an egg.
Pterodactyl or something. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. So that was really it. And especially with Barid coming out, I think it was kind of cool. Good timing to, talk about these sort of things.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite? I don't think you mentioned your least favorite design.
No, I did. It was the Deno. Deno's climax is
Okay.
the crappiest design.
Hmm.
But no. Speaking of Superform, we were and the Kamen Rider story that we're kind of developing. We were arguing about a Superform for you. I actually sent a photo. I was scanning and perusing for my usual ideas like I normally do, which just consists of me scrolling through 9gag aimlessly for inspiration. And when I saw this picture, I was like, this screams Kamen Rider. His character Ijo. So I threw it at him, and it was literally this big think of Kotal Khan standing in front of an angry looking dinosaur with a headdress, with an Aztec headdress made of sheer stone. And I was like, yeah, this says everything about that character.
Yep. So it's no surprise. It's the character you see floating around on the channel here. That's Kamen Rider Ijo. So we're kind of developing a story around that, and Rob's Rider, who we're working on getting some art for and things like that. It's coming. Don't worry, we'll get there.
It's coming, guys. It's coming.
But yeah, my whole character is the idea is dino power and kaiju power, that kind of thing. Yes, just raw, brutal fury, and he is literally an ancient warrior. Because again, I love my mythos to my riders. So he comes from the past, and all kinds of shenanigans come through, and he finds himself Encino Man into the future. With his only job to be destroy everything.
Nothing is the same. Yep, nothing is the same. There's so much that I like as I rewatch some shows and look at the history of a lot of those shows. I'm like, well, there's a lot of elements that if developed into more of an adult thematic thing, like a lot of obviously the show, the issue with Kamen Rider is that it has to have the kid friendly aspects. This, I'm like, well, no, we don't have to. Yep. Not at all. So why don't we go full dark with it, guys? So legitimately, the story is basically going to be about these monsters that attack people, but they're not attacking you, really. They attack your happy memories. They're going to take all of those cute little memories that you don't remember anymore, and they feed off that. So you don't even know you're being possessed by it until you become more aggressive towards everybody in your life and start to either become more possessive, more depressed, more greedy. You embody all of these traits from all these favorite Kamen Rider shows that we have. And then once you've reached your little limit and your little, we'll call it a juice vial. I haven't quite thought of the name for it yet. Juice. But once that's full,
it's a Capri Sun bag.
Yeah, once your Capri Sun bag is full, it gets shipped off to the big bad, who's going to reconstitute himself. And once he's big and back, like Gifu-sama, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Also, that sounds a lot like the Underworld and Wizard, just so you know. But I dig it.
Oh, I know. I'm taking all the inspirations from all these writers that we like, but I'm throwing a lot of adult themes in here, guys. We're going dark.
We going dark. Yeah.
Anzen's whole yeah.
Have you talked about Anzen on the show before? I don't even remember.
A bit. I mean, it's basically just a Kamen Rider theme about SCP and horror with a lot of inspiration from both Kamen Rider and the horror theme. His overall aspect is borrowing from the more popular SCPs. His base form is going to be based around SCP-049, the Plague Doctor. Yeah. And which actually,
I mean, if no one is familiar with what an SCP is, which I learned this week, apparently it's a group of short stories. So I Kamen
Ridered you. I made you drink all of the Kool-Aid, bro.
I don't even know if it was like, I took a sip and I was like, what the fuck am I drinking?
And I just kept pouring. No, it's fine. It's fine.
So Rob's been going on and on about these SCPs, right, for months now. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, go, bro, you got this. So I was like, so he sends me a couple videos, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, do people believe this? Is this some weird, like, cryptozoology thing that people genuinely believe?
Yes.
And, like, it is, but it isn't. And then,
like, I'm like, dude, think of it like if it's everything that we accept and love about Kamen Rider, it's exactly the same thing. Some guy sat in a room, came up with an idea, and it took off like fire. And now everybody who's like me sits in a room coming up with the most crazy, horrifying shit that we can come up with to scare people because we're fucking terrified of what goes on up here. We're like, yep, you guys are going to experience this crap too. There you go. And that's what it is. And then it becomes an SCP. And then everybody loves it. Legit. And that's it. Whatever.
Yeah, I like their cool stories. Don't get me wrong. I can't tell genuinely if everyone that like is hard into this is like, this is the conspiracy theory of short stories. Like there is genuinely a giant worm living under the earth that is going to be awakened by the darkness when some scientist finds Area 51 and the giant butthole of it hanging out there.
It would be actually, if you're going with that, that there's only a couple of Polyon scenarios that we could really face that would really screw us over. But the one that really is terrifying is the Scarlet King, because if to quote the date here, it's the 9th of January 2022, and we lost one of the 7 seals, Betty White, the day before New Year's. So once that final seal is broken, the Scarlet King is going to rise up and destroy us all. So just watching. Morgan Freeman needs to watch out. So does Don Francisco. He needs to hold out. Everybody needs to pay attention. This is happening. That's the conspiracy theory that I would go with. But everything else is just for fun. There's literally one where it's like, check it out. So the one is when day breaks, literally you can't go outside because the sun is going to turn you into a Jello pudding. Like you literally are gonna melt and you'll become a flesh sack, and then join other flesh sacks, and then become a monster butthole flesh sack. So yeah, you're right. Everything reduces down to monster buttholes.
To me, this all sounds like someone went really hard in like the Warhammer lore and was like, "This is the gospel. This is the Bible. It is foretelling the future." So
comparative, you could say like it's as deep as the Warhammer lore can get, or maybe not, because there's a lot more. But I mean, so to speak, as to date, there are over 6,600 of these things that people just came up with, dude. And those are the stuff that I pulled from to come up with his design and his concept. And everything about this, the show is going to be about how one perception of a paranormal event is taken in different context, and how your culture is going to reflect on what these makuro are actually doing. Because some people can see it as a natural thing, and some people see it as an unnatural thing. And that's the whole dynamic here, is who's to say we're right in the grand scheme of what's normal and not, when we're not the creators of it. So that's where I'm going with it.
I like that. You know this, but for the people listening, I am skeptical as fuck about everything.
I planted a conspiracy theory in his head, and now he's like, so this is actually like real? Yeah.
Like, there's
facilities all throughout the world
things I just
that house these nightmare creatures, bro.
I just can't wrap my head around it. And I'm like, I can't tell if people are serious or just having fun making stories. That's the problem. And Mark said, by the way, fun fact, he's the final seal because he's an undead.
Oh my God.
So I can't tell. And it hurts my brain because I'm like, are you serious? You need to stop joking right now. Are you serious?
No, I'm not kidding. And I'm absolutely writing one of my own.
That's fantastic. I am all for it.
Show you.
And please do. I trust enough that you don't think there's a giant butt worm hanging out in the middle of the earth. But I mean, also, I don't know. There could be.
Not in the middle of the earth. You can't tell right now, but it's actually right above my head.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yorgamornd is hanging above your head. Got it. The world serpent himself.
Yes. Jormungandr is over in my ear. Yo, I love when she's been playing the game, because like it shakes the whole house when he speaks. I'm like, yes, talk dirty to me, buddy.
I was showing Beth the clips of that, and she was like, "What is that?" I was like,
that's what we're gonna turn into when we're 87. That's all we're gonna talk to.
I'm like,
we're gonna do the podcast. We're just gonna be
we just start speaking the old tongue as we get older and start melting. Oh man,
we got this.
The middle of the earth is where the lizard people are. That is absolutely true. They need to come hang out. What's up, guys?
Yeah,
that's a Doctor Who thing. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to get on a Doctor Who tangent. Mark, don't do that.
No.
Oh man.
But super form, yeah. your super form is supposed to be like a super dangerous thing. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I have a bunch of character options that, you know, can definitely use some input from anybody who's still interested, because this is something that I'm working on like crazy.
Yeah.
And I need all the extra input I can get.
Yeah. Like we said before, if you are interested when you're listening to this and you want to submit a character, whether it be a writer, it be, you know, a random dude who just hangs out, if you want to be an Alfred, you know, in the Batcave doing all the tech stuff.
Or if you just want to know the story. Yeah,
or if you just want to know the story, hit us up. We're on Twitter. I'm at Kaiju Carl. He's at 6 Echoes. You can also email us at tokudoncast@gmail.com. And yeah, just let us know what you think. You can comment on this. You know, it'll be up on YouTube eventually. You can comment on this, drop a message there if you want, you know, whatever it might be. Think up something fun, because it'd be really cool to populate this little world of ours with some cool stuff.
Pull your ideas from the old Kamen, because this is an homage piece too. Like, I'm throwing it back to old Kamen Riders and taking it dark a little bit, because we're big people. We wear pants.
Yeah,
you know,
I wear pants sometimes. I may or may not be wearing them now.
Sweats, but
yeah, no. So, I mean, for my super form, might as well talk about it since we're talking about super forms. Yeah. So for my super form, essentially the idea is he has two forms in his base. He has his regular form, which is his rider form, the one you see across the channel, and then he has a primal form, which is that he kind of turns into almost like the Garo Berserk form. He turns into a big monster-y looking thing, more, you know, kaiju-ish, large, powerful, unstoppable berserker form. And you find out that he kind of has like a vice spirit inside of him that's kind of pushing this berserk form. And he combines the two and takes over Ijo's body. And that's kind of his first upgrade form, because he turns into this like super sleeked out, badass kaiju berserk rider, but it kind of has the power of both sort of thing. And then his, did we say it was the final form? I guess we did say it was the final form.
It's like the balance out.
Yeah, so and then, you know, eventually he gets a form where he almost does like a Revice sort of thing, where this guy comes out in a spirit form, you know, creates almost like a doppelganger in some aspects, while he gets a different, you know, a new rider form in general. And that's typically when he gets the real belt, because right now he uses a bracer to change. So
it's so dope. So dope. Cool. Ijo is the already established Ichigo in this universe. So he's like once we reintroduce to him, all of these little stories that have been told about him finally make sense.
Yep.
And that's just one of the aspects of the story, because again, some of this takes place in a traditional and it's not thematic with any culture. It's just like a traditional ancient culture that is kind of vague enough that you can pull different cultures from it. But honestly, that's the whole idea behind Ijo, is he's going to bring us back to the source of everything.
Yep.
With the way his story plays out. Anzen is the reflection of what the world is today, thinking of how drastic and shocking it is when our world is shaken up in any way. Some people actually respond violently. Some people are so apathetic that they just roll with it. Yeah. So his reflection is to find that balance where what matters the most is what now, not what ifs.
Yeah.
So his super form is based around one of the SCP-001 proposals. It's the Guardian, the Gate Guardian. Yeah. His whole theme is like this implied angelic thing, but it's really just he's an ultra powerful protector, and he uses a sword that can heat up even hotter than the sun. So the power up is all about the protecting aspect and the ultimate offense of that flame sword type of thing. Yeah. But yeah, so Anzen's catharsis is all built around, you know, coming to terms with the world is the way it is, but, you know, what can he do about it to make it better?
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's also just really fun designing and like hammering out ideas together of a rider, of like what we would do for a rider, since we talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see, like, I don't know, see that stuff come to fruition, like getting art and like seeing your little madman red rope thing you got going on. For anyone that looks at the file, it is I know what's going on because I'm used to his style, but like if you were to hand that to anyone, oh my goodness.
Oh no, good luck. But definitely, I will be here to guide you through my brain.
It's like the Pepe Sylvia red string chart kind of thing going on.
It's me. It's going like in this, and this goes with that, and then trust me, because this gets good. Look at this part right here. You follow me? You follow me?
It's one cigarette away from just like shaking and be like, "Come on, Dad."
Now, where's your idea? Give me your idea. Let's work your idea.
I need it.
I do not apologize for my madness, but once you get me going, I promise.
Yeah,
it's nothing but
it's not going to stop. That train ain't stopping.
But I mean, honestly, I like to talk about it because it helps me recraft and sharpen ideas that I have for characters. Because I don't want a primary writer. I want an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Because every aspect that I'm telling of this story is important overall. So it's not about, it's the Kamen Rider Ijo show or Kamen Rider Anzen. No, I'm thinking it's just going to be called Kamen Rider Tokudon. But, just as a temp title, because it's going to be about everybody's story.
Yeah.
Or whatever we decide. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mark likes the idea of fleshing out an original Kamen Rider story because he noticed a lot of the Toku fan stuff is mainly around Super Sentai, which is probably the team thing, get more people in there. But like, why can't we've seen multiple shows that have like 13 writers, so I don't see what the point is. But we talked about before too. Like Kamen Riders are a thing here on the show. Super Sentai is cool. I just it's not my thing.
There's no hate for it. We appreciate it. It's just our Toku bowl has always been full of Kamen Rider souls.
Also, Mark asked why the Gaim driver is so close to the Sacred Ghost driver.
Because Zen is a jackass, man. This is his spot, so I had to put this here because otherwise he would just be flicking me with his tail all day. Excuse me.
Oh man. There you go. That's better. That's better. Sorry. And if I had a Blade CSM, it would be right here at all times in a shrine right next to me.
We got a bunch of stuff coming up for you guys that we're working on.
Yeah,
I actually have something that we could kind of get into right now. Do we have any Toku news to go over?
That's a good question, actually. Why don't you talk about what you were going to talk about while I look?
All right, so welcome, guys. I'm going to take over for a second. I've actually been kicking around this idea for a bit because I wanted to get, up with the cool kids and learn all this, hippity hop TikTok stuff. And I know that I can't. So basically we're going to do it here and then we'll translate it there whenever we figure that stuff out. But I wanted to take a second here because what we tend to get lost in our tangents. And when we go off, like we'll mention some things that a lot of people don't kind of know what we're talking about. So rather than, sporadically doing that, we're going to make a sub-series here where I'm going to take a couple minutes or about a minute, a Toku minute, and break down a certain Toku subject for Carl, teach him about it, and then hopefully we both learn something.
Yeah.
You ready?
I am. Should I try and find the sound?
Yeah.
Hang on. Keep going.
So I'm going to rename it. I'm going to rename it the Toku Time Break. All right.
Trying to find it. Hang on. I'm trying to do this quickly.
Oh no. We're doing it live. This is how it goes live.
Nope. No, it's called Time Break, not Time.
There we go. All right.
That was very loud. Oh my goodness. Good enough.
Introducing the inaugural Toku Minute, Toku Time Break. Carl and I are going to swap turns researching a certain Toku subject. Then if we survive it, we will teach each other about the tidbits we just learned about. Ready? Here we go. Tokusatsu, Toku for short. Special filming is a Japanese term for live action and film, television, drama that makes heavy use of special effects. Tokusatsu entertainment often deals with science fiction, fantasy, horror, but films and the television shows in other genres can sometimes count as tokusatsu as well. Tokusatsu's origins in early Japanese theater, specifically kabuki, with its action and fight scenes, and in bunraku, which utilized some of the earliest forms of special effects, specifically puppetry. The modern era of Toku began with Big G. Godzilla, with the film released in 1954, it can be said that he kicked off the mini era of Japanese films known as the monster boom, decades following the trend where we saw the debuts of all the kaijus of the legendarium. Major players and names to contribute and remember Eiji Tsuburaya, a legendary special effects artist, Ishiro Honda, equally legendary director, and of course, Shotaro Ishinomori, who creator of many of the series, especially our favorite Kamen Rider. Successful franchises that define the genre. You have the Ultra series, the Big G series, Super Sentai series, Metal Hero, and of course, Kamen Rider. Toku is finally officially coming stateside with the release of the Blu-ray for Toei's Kamen Rider 01. Support the official release. It's going to be the opportunity many Toku fans have been waiting for. So here's our chance to show all of our love for Tokusatsu, bring it stateside, and bring it home. And that was the Toku time break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot of information very quickly.
You're welcome.
Wowza. Oh, man. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that was so the idea is kind of just make it more accessible in small little chunks. And yeah. That's all I got. I don't know.
That'll be it.
That would be it.
That was fun.
I'm
a little dizzy.
I would be too, Jesus. So, news-wise, I think really the only major thing to talk about here is the Don Brothers premiere. That's really...
Oh, yeah.
So that premiered yesterday, I guess, technically today. He's got some energy. He's got some charisma. Yeah, he's got some crazy charisma. Really? Yeah, it's pretty cool. We'll see. It's Sentai.
Does Super Sentai suffer from the character change syndrome that Kamen Rider does? If they ever do debuts like that? Well, how he performs in the episode versus the actual show.
I honestly don't know enough.
Yeah.
I feel like not really, because they're all very characterized, like more so than Kamen Rider, in my opinion.
True.
So yeah, I don't think so.
I remember Wizards too. Wizardo.
The evil live upgrade is the only thing you can think of. Peacemaker. Is there actual pictures of it around, or is it just that we know it's coming? Because I know that I saw the Jackal.
Evil live.
Yeah, evil. The evils/lives upgrade.
Oh. I thought it meant evil live upgrade, like
no.
A join.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if there's any pictures around though. I haven't seen anything.
Dope.
Yeah. No, just the toy from the safety website. There's the actual toy. Wait a second now.
Wait a minute.
Got links.
It's the driver.
Oh, hang on now.
It's a rolly stamp. Look at that.
It's literally a rolly stamp. Oh my goodness. Wow. That looks like a Nickelodeon toy.
Nickelodeon got
it. Oh my goodness. Well, we're here.
That'll be the jingle. That's awesome.
It still looks like there's a bat on there, I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. Mark will still buy it. He has a reputation to keep.
I get it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Whatever. They don't have a jingle. They don't have a jingle that's worth it because the evil belt now is eeny, meeny, miny. I like it. That's not bad.
This should be out in February since we got it along with the DX Demons driver from the same source. Okay. Well, that's neat. Yeah, I got nothing. Honestly, like that's it. That's my reaction.
We gotta see it.
What if it's Duck Duck Goose this time? Oh my goodness! What if it's Duck Duck Goose instead of Eeny Meeny Miny Mo?
Tic Tac Toe.
Duck Duck Goose. 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 Henshin. Duck Duck Goose. Duck Duck Goose.
And his final form will be Patty Cake.
Oh my god!
Fuck.
I love it. That's the dumbest theme for a rider ever. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yep.
Oh man, did you see the Don Brothers thing? Like, did you actually watch the clip?
I mean, I didn't get to see it. That's why I was curious because I'm like, is it going to suffer from not the character syndrome? But
I don't know if it does or not. But you get that, and then you also get the Juron, the base mech that they've revealed already. You see that flying around, and it is full CG, just like they promised.
Oh boy!
Yep, it's doing its full CG thing. That's for true.
The only thing that I can say I'm excited about would be whatever Netflix is going to do with Power Rangers. Then whatever is going to happen with that, it has to be something that's palatable. I'm hoping because, bro, I'm so scared.
Well, they got a couple seasons they can choose from now since we're kind of
I don't think they're
clearly
going to
skipping all over
do
the
any
place.
adaptations. I think they're done doing adaptations. I think that's
Are they? Did they say that?
That's why there's nothing planned after Dino Fury season 2.
I mean, I know a bunch of contracts and stuff were up, so maybe that had something to do with it. But I mean, it is what it is. Honestly,
Maybe I'm wrong. I hope.
I haven't watched Power Rangers.
Because it sounds like they're flying pantsless.
Hey, if they decide to do the comic books instead, I'd be down for it. Okay, like they're very, very MMPR heavy, but I like all the branching stuff they do, like the extra Zords, all that kind of stuff.
Draken, just give me
Draken. Like I love that stuff, even though I prefer if they brought in more stuff. But that's kind of the point of the universe. Like they've branched off now. They have the what are they, the Omega Rangers that like Zach Trini and Jason turned into. They look freaking cool.
Yeah, I like those designs.
Yeah. They said they have a film and a Netflix series that's apparently original to be in film, kind of like the Marvel and the MCU Netflix shows in a shared universe. I'm down for that.
Well, listen, we got Welcome to Raccoon City, and that was
terrible, garbage.
So
was the new Matrix. I don't know if you saw the new Matrix. That movie was
oh my god,
awful.
That movie was. It brought me back to being. You know how bad I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
It brought me back to being on that couch, hating every frame of every second of that. I just like no. Like you. I know you're doing it on purpose, but because you're doing it on purpose, makes it worse. You know that, right? Like you know that shoving the middle finger in the screen the entire time doesn't make it acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, yeah, you're being meta. Fuck you. Like you were given the money to do this right. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have to shove it in the fans' faces. You know what I mean? Of course the fans want more. Of course they do. They're always going to want more. And if you could fucking pull your head out of your ass for a second and make one more good effort to please them, then give it away. Then be like, okay, now it's yours. Okay? Do that rather than just be like, no, fuck everybody just because I'm mad. And then I can't believe they got the actors to be like, this was actually good. No, you couldn't have read the script and be like, yeah, it's a good one.
Keanu doesn't care. Keanu doesn't care.
I know he doesn't.
Apparently,
care.
3/4 of his paycheck went to like cancer research, which just makes him a wonderful human.
But I expect that from Keanu. I don't expect that from everybody else. Like, come on. Like, even I guess that's why Lawrence Fishburne was like, you know what? I've already got enough shit to deal with. I'm not gonna be bombed either. Like,
well, he also canonically died in an MMO, so we're not going to talk about that.
Canonically, sure, but what is canon now? Like, legit, what's canon now? With the bullshit.
I have a feeling this script was very different, and then they kind of turned it into what can we do to bring other actors back. That's kind of how I feel about it. I honestly also only watched about the first 40 minutes, fell asleep, and I have no desire to go back and watch the rest of it. So
don't, because it doesn't get any better.
I was actually bored to the point where I fell asleep.
You had a character that was called Morpheus that acted like neither of the characters that was implied to be him.
For the Matrix. That Keanu Reeves
it was
designed.
Neither. Yeah, he was not even a character. He was just his own creation of what he thought more a fusion dance of them would be. Yep. And that's fine, but give us an original character then. If you're going to go the extra step to be like, well, I think they would be like this. That's a new character.
Yeah.
Hey.
And like I guess the whole point is him kind of like coping with everything that happened in the Matrix, because everything's these ideas, right? That's the whole point. Yeah. Like it's his version of the Matrix. Whether it's Trinity, not Trini, Jesus, Trinity, whether it's, not Agent Smith or not Morpheus, that kind of thing. It's just
analyst. Are you serious? Like, oh my god!
My thing is
Facebook incarnate.
I would have bought it more if they didn't cut in the old movies randomly during these conversations.
They had to, because they had to make sure that you were still watching. Hey, remember this better movie? Yeah, just watch this for a little bit. It's not gonna happen, but remember that good movie? Yeah. No, I hated it. I hated everything about this movie, bro. Everything about it was just.
Mark says he feels like they took some Alice in Wonderland themes literal, and they made Morpheus as a hybrid Mad Hatter and Cheshire Cat. I understand that's the point of like the original. That was the whole point, right? Alice in Wonderland. And I don't know if the other ones
good.
Yeah, and I don't know if the other two movies were based on like Through the Looking Glass and any of that kind of stuff. The sequel Alice in Wonderland books. But yeah, I feel like it was like, do you understand the themes? Do you understand them? Come on now. And then I just got bored.
Yeah.
I genuinely just got bored.
Like, you know, we made this just because we were told to do it. So there you go. That's what you get, because I'm so much better than...
The first time I genuinely was like, oh no, was when they reshot the... they were based on explosive diarrhea, not the sequels.
That was the script.
When they reshot like the opening to the first movie, when they reshot it for the girl like playing the memory back or whatever it was, and everything was just like stilted and not good instead of just playing the actual scene. I don't know if you remember that, but I was like, okay, I get they're a little bit older, but like they also didn't have the choreographer from the other movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, Keanu wasn't going to do any of that stuff.
Which is fine, but like you have a bunch of young kids who could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's also that they just didn't have the choreography team from the original movies, because like despite how terrible Reloaded is, that highway fight scene is fucking amazing, like fucking amazing.
But that's why they used the Force the whole movie. That's why he had to use the Force.
I guess I don't know. It's just like what little that they did. It reminded me of that like Man of Kung Fu. Is that what that movie's called? Where Keanu's like a big gangster dude, and then Man of Tai Chi. Is that what it is? Man of Tai Chi, something like that. Yeah, where he's just like a gangster dude and like fights him at the end, but he just kind of turned into this big like brooding like I'm gonna kick you. Yeah, it has that level of unbelievability that you're just like, really, he's just gonna Shinra Tensei everything away from him. I mean, that's like, fine. I'm cool with it. It's just, you know, you got to have a little more substance to it if you're going to do that. Like, make the other characters do equally cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? There were no other characters. Exactly. They literally were. Exactly. They were just there to get Neo and Trinity together again, so that they could fake fly together, and touch, and that's it. Because he's Superman. I hate it. I hate it so much. Goku. I hate it so much. I hate it. I'm sorry. I can't talk about this anymore. Okay, well, I think that's a good spot to end it. This has been Tokudon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are watching live, you're great. If not, you can go to twitch.tv/KaijuCarl. Come hang out. You're still great. Don't take that negatively. You're still fantastic. No. Everybody's awesome. No. We're awesome. You're awesome. I love you still. But if you want to come hang out live, it's twitch.tv/KaijuCarl. That came out very wrong. I'm sorry. You can also follow me on Twitter at KaijuCarl. And then we also have our Discord. Some links are flying around. Working on a new one. We got some new stuff going too. If you want to go to our Patreon for just $2, you get early access to the video version of this podcast when it goes up. You'll get it about 4 days ahead of time. If you don't want to wait, you can pop over $2 and you support the show. It all goes back into the podcast itself. There's no like pocketing the money and running. I mean, I might buy coffee here or there, but you know, it all goes into the podcast and trying to do fun stuff with people and make more things Toku related. Do more for you guys. So go over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Tokudon. You can go there, just $2. Thanks, guys. He's 6 Echoes, by the way. I was letting him do his thing. You dropped it already. You dropped it 7 times. I'm going to drop it again. I'm at 6echoes.sd@gmail.com. Hit me up if you want to know more about the Kamen Rider project we're working on. I definitely want to talk to you about the story. You know I can talk for hours about it, so hit me up. Let's do this. Yeah. Later.